Hello and welcome back to our channel. This is take 2 on this video. I tried to do it this morning inside in my mom's sewing room, which was a much better, easier environment to do this, but for some reason my original footage got corrupted and the video wouldn't play. So I'm going to try to redo it quick because there were quite a number of people who were interested in seeing it. What this video is about is my hydrotherapy kit. It's particularly for chest fomentations because that is a very, very powerful treatment for bronchitis, for pneumonia, for any kind of chest issue, and I believe it would be very effective for those who are struggling with the issue that's going around these days, if you know what I mean. It's August 2021. I think everybody knows what the current event is. But anyway, I wanted to show you, this is my grab-and-go kit for chest fomentations. So I just want to open it up and show you what I have in here and show you a little bit about how I put the actual fomentation pads themselves together. Of course, I have thermometers and stuff like that in here, and then I have this cape, and the lady that I got this from is no longer making them, unfortunately. But this is for doing a Russian steam bath, but you can also use this. It's what it is it's like a giant contractor garbage bag with a hole in the top. You just put it down over a person who's sitting on a chair if you want to give them a like a Russian steam bath or whatever, and it keeps the steam in. But you can also use this to lay down on the bed if you're giving somebody chest fomentations and they're going to sweat. You don't want to have to change the sheets and stuff, so you can put this down and it'll absorb their sweat. And then I also have a wool blanket. This is just a very thin, lightweight wool blanket, but it is wool. And this video is not about how to do fomentations. It's more of what I have in my kit and also encouraging you to make your own kit. So let me just kind of unpack it and I'll show you what I have here and show you how I use these. So in here I have lots of extra, like hand towels, washcloths, towels, full-size towels and stuff, so that, you know, if I go to somebody's home and they've been sick for a while and nothing's clean anymore, I have what I need and I don't have to depend on what they have or don't have in their home. So hand towels, full-size towels, I have a lot of them in here, but I'm trying to get to my canner kettle that I have in here. This is just a regular water bath canning kettle, steam pot, whatever you want to call it. You can get these from Walmart, and ideally you would want to be able to stand your fomentations, and I'll show you these in just a minute, to stand them up in here, but you know, mine are too tall for the pot to do that, so I just kind of cross hatch them in here and stack them together. And let me just show you this. I had a vegetable steamer that one of the legs fell off of, and I put this in here, and the reason I do, this is the steamer tray that came with this kettle, and if I'm going to do an extended treatment on somebody that's like really sick or something, and I have to put extra water in there to keep my fomentation pads steamed, then I may want to put a little bit extra water. And sometimes when the water's boiling, it'll splash up and my fomentation pads get too wet. They don't have to be wet anyway, but you wet them and then you kind of wring them out so that they're just damp so that the steam can make them hot. But if I am doing that prolonged treatment, I'll put this in there to give a little bit of extra space so I can put more water, and it keeps my fomentation pads from getting saturated. When I handle these, I have a pair of thick, heavy rubber gloves that I keep in here as well, because these get very hot. And I'll show you what these are made out of next. Let me just get this out of my way. So what I did, ideally these should be made out of wool, but I didn't have wool. The wool that I had, I wanted to use for another purpose. This is the padding that I put, and I'll show you how I use that in just a second. So what I did, because I didn't have wool, I went to the thrift store and I got sets of flannel sheets, and I just folded and folded. And I think I got 2 of these out of one twin flat flannel sheet. So I just folded and folded until it got pretty thick. These are probably about 1/4 of an inch thick. You can kind of see the thickness there. And these are for like a grown-up, like, I don't know, maybe 8 inches by 16 or 18 maybe. So these are what I use on big people, on adults and stuff. Even for me, it's a little bit big, and I have some that are a little bit smaller that might work better for somebody that's a little bit smaller, or if you need to do them on the abdomen or what have you. But all of them are very thick, and they're just several folds of flannel sheets. And what I did when I folded it, in order to keep it from wadding up inside whenever I wash it and use it and stuff, was I took some stitches. I did these by hand because I didn't have a machine at the time. But I just put some stitches every so often inside just to hold the material in place as I use these. And another thing I want to show you is these that I made for children. They're like maybe 3 inches or 4 inches wide by, I don't know, that's maybe 15 or 16 inches long. They don't necessarily have to be that long for a child, but it's the same thing, and you can kind of see where I put the stitches in between and the thickness of these. And this is all of these are just flannel bed sheets, and it's, you know, they're different colors and stuff, but this is not a beauty pageant or anything for these. This is about function. And so they work, and they work very well. So whenever I dampen these and then I squeeze them out and stack them in here, it takes about, I'd say, anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes on high for these to steam enough to get like super hot that you can do a fomentation treatment. So what I do, I'm not sure if this is going to show up, I may have to hold it up, but these are the padding that I use to do the fomentations. So what I do is I put the fomentation inside this like so, and fold it over, and then I roll it up and take it to wherever my patient is if they're not, you know, right next to me. I try to keep the kettle close so that there's not a lot of time lapse between the time this comes out of the kettle and the time it goes on the patient's chest, because you want them to be hot. And the reason why I have so many extra hand towels, washcloths, towels, whatever, is because bony prominences like the clavicles, and ladies and even men with the nipples, these are very tender areas that can get too hot too quick. And so you'll need extra of these to kind of pad so that, you know, people don't get burns and stuff, because these things really get hot. This is my favorite treatment. Fomentations are my absolute favorite treatment to receive and to give, and they're a very powerful treatment, particularly for those who have, like I said, pneumonia, any kind of chest congestion, sinus problems. And let me show you my sinus one. I'm kind of pleased with the way this one turned out. Originally, I made my sinus ones like this, just straight, and then I just put them over, you know, the nose and the eyes, the sinus area like this. Of course, I pat it in another cloth. But the Lord gave me the idea to make it a little bit bigger, and then just fold these flaps down and sew it. I sewed it here, and then I sewed it on the back side like this. And look how well that fits. It just makes a really super fomentation pad for the sinuses. And again, you know, you do need to put this inside of another cloth because it is going to be hot, but it still fits very nicely over the sinuses like so. So that's the sinus pack. So I just want to encourage you to put a kit like this together. And I have, I don't know, 4 or 5 of these pads that I use for the fomentations. There's an ant biting me, sorry. And then I think I have 5 like this, and then a whole bunch of smaller ones, different sizes and stuff. So I encourage you to put your hydrotherapy kit together. And now I'm going to go get this ant off of me.